Welcome to our session on calculating sample size for a test of two proportions in Minitab. We'll explore how to determine the right sample size using Minitab's power and sample size tools. We are addressing the challenge of determining the necessary sample size to detect a significant difference in proportions between two independent populations. Classic examples include comparing defect rates between two production lines or analyzing abandoned call rates between day and night shifts. To define two proportions, we estimate population 1's proportion as x over m and population 2's as y over n. Here, x and y are counts of items with the characteristic of interest. While sample sizes m and n can differ, Minitab requires them equal for power and sample size calculations. Every hypothesis test begins with two competing statements: the null hypothesis, h0, and the alternative hypothesis, h1. The null hypothesis is the default assumption and states that there is no difference between the two populations, which is written as p1 equals p2. The purpose of the hypothesis test is to determine whether there is enough statistical evidence to reject this assumption. The alternative hypothesis depends on the objective of the study. A one-sided less than test is used when you expect population 1 to have a higher proportion than population 2, such as when a new supplier claims to have fewer defects. A two-sided test is used when you want to determine whether any difference exists between the two populations, regardless of direction. A one-sided greater than test is used when you expect population 1 to have a higher proportion than population 2. The required sample size for a statistical study is determined by four important factors. Understanding these factors helps ensure that the study is both statistically reliable and practical to execute. The first factor is the alternative hypothesis. A one-sided test generally requires a smaller sample size than a two-sided test because it focuses on detecting a difference in only one direction. The second factor is the significance level, alpha, which represents the probability of making a type 1 error. A smaller alpha reduces the risk of false alarms, but usually requires a larger sample size. The third factor is the desired power, which is the probability of detecting a real difference when one truly exists. Higher power, such as 80% or 90%, increases confidence in the results, but also increases the required sample size. The fourth factor is the minimum detectable difference effect, size, which is the smallest difference that is practically important to detect. Smaller differences require larger sample sizes, while larger differences can be detected with fewer samples. In summary, sample size is influenced by the alternative hypothesis, significance level, statistical power, and effect size. Balancing these factors helps organizations design efficient and reliable studies. Determining the right sample size is a balancing act between statistical confidence and practical constraints. In most studies, sample size is closely related to three key factors: significance level, alpha, statistical power, and minimum detectable difference, effect size. When the sample size increases, the significance level, alpha, can be reduced while maintaining the same power and detectable difference. This lowers the risk of false alarms and makes the results more reliable. Increasing the sample size also increases statistical power, which improves the ability to detect real differences or process changes when they exist. As a result, the likelihood of missing important effects is reduced. In addition, a larger sample size allows the study to detect smaller differences that may not be detectable with fewer observations. This improves the sensitivity and precision of the analysis. However, larger sample sizes require more time, effort, and resources. Therefore, the goal is not to collect the largest possible sample, but to find an optimal sample size that balances cost, risk, and statistical reliability. In summary, sample size should be chosen carefully to achieve the desired confidence, power, and practical significance while using resources efficiently. To navigate to the right tool in Minitab, open the Stat menu and select Two Proportions. Then, choose Power and Sample Size. This path opens the dialog box where you can enter proportion values, power targets, and significance level to calculate the required sample size per group. In the dialog box, input one or more values for proportion 1 to define minimum detectable differences from proportion 2. Enter a single value for P2 as the baseline. Specify desired power levels, such as 0.8 or 0.9, to calculate the necessary sample size for each P1 and power combination. When using Minitab power and sample size, you may notice that the actual power reported in the output is slightly different from the target power that you entered. This occurs because sample sizes must be whole numbers, and Minitab cannot calculate a fraction of a sample. For example, if you request a target power of 80%, Minitab will calculate the nearest whole number sample size that meets or exceeds this requirement. As a result, the software often rounds the sample size up and reports an actual power that is slightly higher than the target value. Therefore, it is normal to see a small difference between the target power and actual power in the output. For one-sided hypothesis tests, the input values must also be consistent with the alternative hypothesis. If the alternative hypothesis is P1, P2, then P1 must be greater than P2. Entering inconsistent values may result in calculation errors or invalid results. We're examining if production line 1 has fewer defects than line 2. With proportion 2 at 12% and proportion 1 at 10%, we aim for a 2% improvement. Using a one-sided test with alternative hypothesis, proportion 1 to achieve an 80% power in detecting a 2% defect rate improvement, 3,026 samples per group are needed. For a 90% power, this increases to 4,191 samples per group, requiring 1,165 more samples. The total sample size is double the group size, as each group needs the specified number of samples. A two-sided hypothesis test is used when the objective is to determine whether there is any difference between two populations regardless of the direction of the difference. This type of test is appropriate when you want to know whether one population is either better or worse than the other, rather than testing for improvement or deterioration only. In a two-sided test, the null hypothesis, H0, states that the two population proportions are equal. H0, P1 equals P2. The alternative hypothesis, H1, states that the two population proportions are not equal. H1, P1 is not equal to P2. For example, suppose line 2 has a defect rate of 12%. P2 equals 0.12. If the objective is to determine whether line 1 performs differently from line 2, a two-sided test should be used. The test would examine both possibilities. Whether line 1 has a lower defect rate, such as 10%, representing a 2% improvement, or a higher defect rate, such as 14%, representing a 2% deterioration. Because a two-sided test evaluates differences in both directions, it requires a larger sample size than a one-sided test to achieve the same statistical power. The advantage is that it provides a more comprehensive assessment when the direction of the difference is unknown. The Minitab output shows sample sizes needed for different power levels when testing if proportion 1 equals proportion 2, with proportion 2 set at 0.12 and significance level at 0.05. For proportion 1 at 0.10, sample sizes are 3,800 for thank you 1 for 80% power and 5,100 for thank you 2 for 90% power. For proportion 1 at 0.14, they are 4 thous and 438 and 5,940, respectively. Switching from a one-sided to a two-sided test increases sample size by about 27% for the same scenario. For power 0.8, samples increase from 3,026 to 3,841. And for power 0.9, from 4,191 to 5,142. Use two-sided tests only when no directional hypothesis exists, as one-sided tests are more efficient. The sample size requirement differs for P1 equals 0.10 and P1 equals 0.14, despite both being 2% from P2 equals 0.12. This is due to the statistical power depending on the absolute values of P1 and P2. The variance, P1 infinity P, is not symmetric around 0.5, affecting sample size calculations. Align your hypothesis with your research question. Choose one-sided or two-sided based on this, not data. Minitab rounds sample sizes to integers, slightly exceeding target power. Equal sample sizes are needed for power calculations. Increasing power from 0.8 to 0.9 demands about 35 to 40% more samples, so plan your data collection budget wisely.